Look at this car. It's melted. But look, rubber tire intact. Okay? Look at this car. Melted. The steel is melted, and yet rubber tire intact. Look at this. Looks like something took a big bolt of lightning going across this thing, melted the car, fried it, broke the glass. Rubber's still intact. It was not flame. It was not explosion. It was not high heat. It was something else. It was something radioactive.
Kind of like that hijacker's ID card magically
Yeah.
after the whole building.
Oh,
Yeah,
the
right.
paper passport laid on the ground, yeah.
Another thing about 9/11, remember, steel pillars evaporated, and yet paper didn't. Paper didn't burn. There were paper everywhere. Why is that? Because steel is a much higher density, specific gravity of mass than paper. Paper weighs nothing. So in other words, the energy didn't affect the paper. But a human body has high density. Steel, concrete, desks, computers, very high density. Paper didn't burn. Doesn't make sense. Lots of possible victims. Flight 800, 990, JFK Jr., the Space Shuttle, World Trade Center, Aero, Flight, whatever, Gander. I mean, they've been doing this for a long time. Okay, but because we were kept stupid about Tesla and scalar energy, we go, oh, it must have been a lightning bolt, oh, it must have been a missile, a terrorist bomb. Well, it was probably all three, but it was also scalar weapons. Who do scalar weapons really protect? What did they really build these things for? Do you think they built them to attack the Russians? Well, they have Russia. I mean, what, are we going to attack each other? I don't think so. So, remember, when you blast a hole with a scalar weapon, what is it doing? It's essentially blasting a hole in the fourth dimension. Now, for those of us that were here for the UFO thing, we know that most of these entities operate in a higher density level than we are at. So how do you do battle against an enemy that isn't even in the third density? It's in a whole other density. We can't even see them. They're doing battle with enemies they can't even see. That's why they're using these weapons.
But the really sad part about it is most of the strikes are against the good guys.
Well, good guys is a relative term.
Well, let's put it this way. The people in government who control humans, they are striking those ETs who want to help humans.
You got it. You got it. That's exactly the point I'm going to make. Anybody familiar with Billy Meyer?
Yes.
Yeah.
Billy Meyer fans here?
No.
Okay, great.
No.
No?
Who is he?
Okay. Billy Meyer is a Swiss bus driver, one-armed Swiss bus driver, and he is famous because he made contact with this entity who is an alien named Semyasi, and she flies this craft, and she is from the Pleiades. These are humanoid aliens, and they made contact with this guy, and they said, you know, we like you, we're going to talk to you because the government doesn't want to have anything to do with us, but we think that the common man might not be threatened by you, and we think that you might do a real good job of helping everybody learn about us and send the message that we have to the rest of the world. He wrote a book called Message from the Pleiades. Pleiades. Has anybody read that book? Come on, you got to get it. Now write that down because you got to go get that book now. Message from the Pleiades by Billy Meyer. In that book, and remember this book is put out a little while ago, distributed by this guy, Wendell Stevens actually was dealing with this guy. Anyway, in that book, Semyasi warns Billy Meyer that the United States is developing a new type of weapon system that she called barium weapons. And I thought, okay, that's kind of interesting. And according to her, these barium weapons would rip huge holes in the ozone. And I thought what that meant was the idea is that they would go to a foreign or enemy country, they'd rip a huge hole in the ozone, and all sorts of nasty radiation would come down and fry the people in the target country that they did this to. Which is kind of silly because ozone holes kind of move around, so what's to say it's not going to be over here one day and then move over you the next day? Doesn't make a lot of sense. Now, you remember those holes that we saw in the, what do you think? You think maybe they're blasting big holes in the ozone when they do those scalar weapon tests? So that's probably what she was talking about. And I'm thinking maybe if the Earth is controlled by the Illuminati and the United States government made a treaty with the Greys, and the Greys are working for the Reptoids, and the Reptoids are service-to-self entities that essentially been controlling the world since Atlantis. And
all this since 2024 BC.
right, and we know, or we are being told that the Pleiadians represent the Galactic Federation, and they've been at war with these guys for a long time, and they're allegedly coming to our planet to rescue us and disrupt the reptoids' control of the Earth and usher in a new form of civilization and a enlightened time ahead. So it makes sense that the powers that be in the world would harness this technology and would do everything they can to try to do battle with these guys. So if you're going to try to do battle with these guys, that's probably how they're doing it. You know. Interesting, huh? Let's right off your page, huh?
What's SDS?
Service to self. If you go back when we did the thing on the UFOs, one of the biggest issues, or one of the biggest important ideas to come out of that was that the universe can be divided into two groups: the service to self and the service to others. Here on this level of our existence on Earth, we coincide with service to self and service to others. We're all a little bit of both, you know, and you need to have both because you can't serve others without having somebody to be served. So, but as I like to tell people though, if we could just try to be 51% service to others and 49% service to self, that's all we really got to do, and that gives us a ticket out of here. And when these guys come to rescue us. These guys want us to stay in a service to self mode. They want to keep us down, and this has a lot to do with where the Earth is going in our big transition that we're getting ready to make. That's such a big critical aspect. All right, we're almost done. Directed energy weapons. They use lasers to basically guide the lightning. And we all know about Ben Franklin's experiment. Now, I used to think that this is how they shot down the planes, that they would point a particle beam or a weapon, and then they would shoot off a blast, and the lightning would take it out. So that is a basic particle beam weapon. So you can use a scalar wave weapon, or you can use a directed energy particle beam weapon. They basically do the same thing. More beam weapons, so-called non-lethal beam weapons. Laser dazzler, what is that? That's one of these that's about 50 times brighter. Now, anybody want me to point this in their face? Okay, now imagine if this was 50 times brighter and it was pointed in your face. That's what they're doing in Iraq right now. Okay, that's against the Geneva Convention, but we do it. They just got through developing this. This is a basically big microwave, points microwaves at you. Yeah, just imagine what that feels like. Here's another thing, produces short bursts of acoustic, really 150 decibel, highly focused noise. So what are they going to do? Blind you, burn you, make you deaf. Secretary of the Air Force says non-lethal weapons such as high-power microwave devices should be used on American citizens in crowd-control situations before they are used in the battlefield. This is our American government. They want to do this to us. So whenever you see these newfangled weapon systems coming out, remember, they want to use it on us. Now we're almost done, and that's the end of it. We made it. This is how much film we got? I'm gonna say goodnight, and then we're gonna turn off the camera, and then we're gonna do the question and answer. Okay? Hope everybody enjoyed Tesla.
Very good.